Good morning. Welcome to day 12 of our Global Breath Awareness. Welcome, new people. We had a bunch of people jumped in and joined our group yesterday. Thank you for joining. I am Sula DePaula. I am a breath worker, a breath coach, and an energy worker. And I am here to share with you breathwork technology and all kinds of fun things that you can learn to expand your consciousness. If you just joined the group, I invite you to watch the other videos so you can learn more about the breath and all the other subjects that we have talked about. Today's day 12, so we have covered a bunch of topics already. So good morning all, happy Monday. How are you guys feeling today? Woo! I have a lot of energy running through, a little bit of racing in my chest this morning. Good morning. Yes. So today's topic is pretty important, and I want you to know this is a short introduction, okay? We can spend years talking about this, and I certainly have spent most of my adult life moving through this topic that I'm gonna talk about it and teaching my clients about it. Beautiful day, yes. Okay, so 7 inhibitors to bliss. So have you ever wondered if our natural state is bliss and that we carry pieces within, and bliss is our natural state? Why is it that we are not feeling it? Why is it that we're not experiencing bliss and pleasure and natural peace coming forth from our hearts? Good morning. Does anybody know why is it that we don't experience bliss? All of the masters and all of the teachers say that bliss is our natural state, right? I wonder. So it is from that wonder, that curiosity and questioning that I started to look for it, because I wasn't in bliss in my life at all. When I turned 30, I had just gotten divorced from my husband, and I married my first yoga teacher when I was 23. And I was doing yoga. I was chanting sacred names, and I was not in the blissful state. And I was actually pretty miserable and unhappy, and I did not know why at all. Good morning. And so, as I shared earlier, when I first took my breathwork session, a private session, because group was terrifying to me, and it was like, no way. So when I took my first breath class, coaching 101, I became aware of my walls, right? So that was my number one awareness of, like, holy cow, I need help. My walls are very heavy and I don't know how to lower them. And I am like a prisoner behind these walls that I've created. So I started searching. Good morning. And I knew that I needed to dive deep within myself, and I needed help. So that's when I went to the Rebirthing Breathwork Center in Philadelphia for 9 months, pretty much 10 months. I flew up to Philadelphia and I took my first breathwork program. And I became aware of my inhibitors to bliss. Good morning, everyone. So a colleague of mine, a breath worker, we are also called rebirthers. Rebirther means we studied extensively about the birth trauma. So a colleague of mine in Australia, she wrote a book called The 7 Inhibitors to Bliss, Pauline Wynn. Okay. Now, in that book, she credits the founder of circular breathing. So Leonard Orr, we're going to talk and introduce and honor Leonard Orr today, who is the founder of circular breathing and the one who came up with what he first started with, the 5 biggies, okay? Then he found out a couple more, and today there are 8 biggies. But what he calls it is let's just say 7, okay? Because there's one that we're not going to talk about it today, but I will mention it. So Leonard Orr, who is the founder of circular breathing, rebirthing breathwork, discovered and came up with the 7 biggies of human trauma. Now, with my 15 years of experience in this work, I have noticed that people run away from the word trauma. It's like the first you hear the word trauma and walls go up. And most people, I'm not going to generalize it, but most people go, I don't have any trauma. Walls go up. And I wonder, why do you think that is? If you hear the word trauma, that you may have some trauma that you need to heal, why is it that the walls go up and we go, that's not me, right? Because I think personally, this is what I think. Why do we put up walls and don't want to see that we have some trauma work to do? I think it's because we don't really understand the word trauma. And most people think that trauma is a really serious life and death situation, like war, like being in the ICU and, being nearly, in a car accident that you almost died, or being abused, right? Physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse. Yes, those are traumas, but there are others. There are other traumas in our lives that we're not acknowledging, and we are not freeing ourselves from the emotional energy that was suppressed, hidden within our subconscious, that then is showing up in our physical body as illnesses. Okay, so good morning. Avoidance is part of trauma syndrome. Yes, Elizabeth, who is a therapist, avoidance is part of trauma syndrome. So as a breath worker, I have learned that to introduce it to people is much easier to use the 7 inhibitors to bliss than let's talk about trauma. So imagine this. Imagine that you are at the airport and you're going overseas and you're going to be in the airplane for a long time and you forgot your book, and you go to the bookstore at the airport and you're looking for a book to read, and there is 7 inhibitors to bliss, or 7 traumas for the 7 biggies of the human, the 7 biggies trauma. Are you going to be attracted to the 7 inhibitors to bliss, or let's read about trauma, right? Most people will go, I want to know how to overcome the 7 inhibitors to bliss. So that's why I like to introduce it as inhibitors to bliss as opposed to the 8 biggies of human trauma. Good morning. Yes, so what are they? What are they? Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about the avoidance of that you may be actually functioning from trauma. Is this. What I notice is this. If your life is not going well, or things are, you're struggling, you're suffering, and you start to look at your life and your past, people are either defending against their parents or defending for their parents. So you're either going to go, it's, my parents' fault, and you rebel against your parents, which I did. You rebel against, or you want to defend it. You want to defend, no, my parents were good. I don't want to look at the subject because my parents did the best that they could. And it is true in both cases. Our parents did the best that they could, but things happen. So if, as I am talking, look at where you are and how this information sits in your body. And if you get triggered, or you start to have sensations in your body, just pay attention to that, because the body tells us and communicates with us, right? So I'm going to read the 7 inhibitors to bliss, and then I'm going to add, I'm going to mention the last one that Leonard Orr has added within the last, the last 5 years. He added one more. Okay, so today, if you search for Leonard Orr, you will find that he's listing it as the 8 biggies of human trauma. So I'm going to pull up here my PDF, and I'm going to read it for you. The 8 biggies, okay? 1 is the birth trauma, including prenatal and infancy trauma, the parental disapproval syndrome, which we call it the PDS. And I'm going to go over them a little bit as we're breathing. I'm going to explain them and ask some questions to see, which one or which ones you are being more affected by. The third one is the misuse of the power of the mind. We have worked on this, specific negatives, right? Like your most sabotaging thoughts about yourself, your most sabotaging thoughts about your life, your most sabotaging thoughts about love. Number 4, the unconscious death urge. I'm going to talk about that. Number 5, karma from past lives. This is where, if you believe in past lives and you are incomplete in past lives, and it's affecting you in this lifetime, that doesn't come up, for a while when you're doing breath work, and I'm going to explain it. Okay, the unconscious death urge, karma from past lives. School programming is number 6. 7 is religion trauma or religion programming, which we talked a little bit about yesterday. And Leonard Orr added the number 8 as senility, which is when your mind starts to deteriorate, and you start to forget things and lose your wits, really. So, but we're going to focus on 7, okay? 7 inhibitors to Bliss. Okay, so relax. What was number 2? I'm going to list it and go over them again. The parental disapproval syndrome. So as I go over them again with a little bit more information, I really invite you to close your eyes and listen with an open mind and open your heart and allow the words to just be in your psyche and see, perceive which one may be affecting you today. You're welcome. So close your eyes, take a deep breath in, exhale out. Another deep breath in through the nose, exhale out. Just giving yourself some time to really arrive in your body. Noticing how you're feeling. And are you willing to learn about what is blocking you from feeling bliss? Are you willing to take a deep look to see if you have trauma keeping you from feeling joyful? Close your eyes, take a deep breath in again. So now let's start to connect the inhale with the exhale. And we let go of avoidance. We let go of denial. And we are willing to be authentic, to be vulnerable with ourselves. Walls down. Any walls, barriers, barricades that we have created to protect ourselves and to keep us safe, we now lower them and we ask for the truth above everything else. I want to see the truth. Above everything else, I want to move beyond suffering, beyond pain, beyond separation. Relax the jaw, relax your hands. Inhaling and exhaling. Nice. So number 1 from the 7 inhibitors to bliss is the birth trauma. So you may not cognitively remember your birth, and we don't need to reenact, but just bring to mind like what your mother have talked about your birth. Did you have any emergencies around your birth? Was there anything that you heard from your parents and your family that happened when your mother got pregnant with you, while you were in her womb? Do you feel that there was anything that was traumatic? Birth trauma when we unravel the birth trauma, we unravel where we got the most negative thoughts about ourselves and about life. So just giving one more second to feeling and sensing with your eyes closed as you breathe. Was your father there? Do you think that was your mother happy during the pregnancy and when you were born? Did you have a sibling waiting for you? Were you welcome? So we're just going over very quickly the second inhibitors to peace or bliss are negative thoughts about yourself, the negative self-talk, and are you willing to stop that? Keep breathing, breathing in and breathing out. The third is the parental disapproval syndrome. Were you disapproved a lot by your parents? Did you feel like you had to work to earn their love? You had to do something in order for them to love you. Did your parents have a lot of expectations of you to be something, to choose something? Parental disapproval syndrome is about receiving a lot of disapproval and your parents not really seeing who you are for who you be, not for what you do. And as an adult, did you rebel against them and went the opposite way? Or did you conform and did exactly what they wanted, while inside of you, you were going against your nature? Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, the unconscious death urge, which is about learning from parents and your generations before you that you had to inherit certain illnesses and that you had to conform to what your parents are experiencing, and you had to go through the same thing that they're going through in your later life. And also it's about questioning death. What is death? What is after death? And the thought that death is inevitable. Again, keep your mind open. We're just expanding and questioning. Is there another choice here? Okay, now, maybe some of you have an awareness of karma, of things that you can't explain in this life, where you have a tendency or you have an illness or you have something that is unexplainable, that could be coming from another lifetime. Now, church programming is about what did you learn in church that actually is against your nature? And were you abused in any way in a religion that you were brought up in? The belief in sin and a revengeful God. And number 7 is about school programming or school trauma. Again, what did you learn in school that actually diminished you? Did you have a teacher that inspired you or that suppressed your creativity? Keep breathing. We're just looking at these and seeing if there's something that pops up, whether it's in the mind or in the body. Good morning. Keep breathing, breathing in and breathing out. Above everything else, I want the truth and freedom from suffering. So keep breathing. I'll play some a music. We're gonna breathe for a few more minutes. Finding your rhythm, connecting the inhale with the exhale, and let it be peaceful and pleasurable. Allowing information to drop into your consciousness, your awareness, expanding out in all directions. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah. It's safe to know the truth. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Breathing together, healing together. raising our vibration, our frequency. Breathing in and breathing out. There is no hold and no pause in circular breathing. We inhale right away as the exhale flow out. Unraveling, unwinding any contracted areas and anything that's blocking you from feeling bliss. The purpose of unraveling any trauma is to release any suppressed material that is causing you uneasiness, that's causing you triggers, that's causing you to be edgy and anxious, fearful. So being willing to see where it's coming from. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Our target is bliss and freedom, peace, freeing ourselves from any timeline where we got stuck, where our beings felt threatened, where we decided that we weren't safe and our needs were not getting met. So we are freeing ourselves from places and spaces where we froze, where we couldn't understand what was happening, where our nervous system went into fight or flight, in defense mode, and intense fear. Breathing in and breathing out. We are dissipating charges that is causing you pain and suffering in the mind or in the body, or spiritual disconnection from source. Thank you for being willing to look at it. So it's slowly coming back. Slow down the breath. Being kind and gentle with yourself. If anything got revealed to you today, I want you to be really gentle with yourself and anyone that's involved. Slowly coming back to our group. The awareness that you are here in this timeline, in this moment right now. I am going to list them here on the group, and we'll see what we're going to dive into, which ones we're going to dive into a little deeper in this group for the last week that we are together. If you have a request for any topics or any of these 7 inhibitors to bliss, let me know. How are you feeling? How are you guys doing? Remember, gentleness leads to joy. So if you had any abuse as a child, if you're feeling like this topic has brought up stuff for you that is uncomfortable and it feels raw, please be gentle and kind with yourself. And share with me and ask for support also. Thanks for creating this now just for me. You are bliss, Miss. Aw, Arthur, you are so kind and generous with your words. Thank you for being here. I see you. And I see how great you are. Your greatness. How are you guys feeling before we sign off? Did anything come up? Did any awareness pop up that you want to share? Okay, good. Me feels good. Great. Thank you, Sula. Elizabeth, thank you, Sula. I finally saw the origins of my personal lie, a prenatal imprint. Yes. Thank you, Elizabeth. Michelle is being grateful. I am feeling blissful and tranquil. Noticed my personal lie, not good enough, was also fueled by the biggies, the inhibitors to bliss. I also noticed how having to let go of personal lie, energetic charge. Good. I am here only to be truly helpful, and I am receiving from you guys as well. Please know that. It is my pleasure to give